Hi, my name is Paula. I am an INFP and I use this channel to talk about things that relate to being an INFP. I'm also a writer. I write novels under the pen name EJ Mara, so occasionally I'll also talk about writing on this channel. Today I want to talk about surviving a breakup. A couple of my friends are going through something similar, and so we spent a lot of time talking about it and how you get over something like that because it's really hard. So I did some research, and there are about four tips for people who are highly sensitive to kind of help them cope through the process of surviving a lost love. Um, so the first thing it said to remember, or one of the first things I found, was a suggestion to understand that it's not weird or abnormal to feel such strong emotions when someone breaks up with you. As an INFP or another highly sensitive type of individual, you you're different. You're made differently from the average person or from a lot of other people, in that the chemicals in your body are produced in such a way that you feel everything more than the average person would. So, this is why there's a special term for people like us. You have acute physical, mental, or emotional responses to stimuli that are different from other people's. Um, that's why we're called highly sensitive people. So, yes, it sucks that you're feeling this way, but there's nothing mentally wrong with you or emotionally wrong with you. You're simply reacting to pain that is natural. Um, so, don't beat yourself up, is the first thing for feeling as low as you do. And this is something that can be difficult when we live in a world that is not really the most conducive place for a highly sensitive person. Um, we are encouraged most of the time to be strong, to not cry, to not show weakness, to just keep moving. Like the best way to deal with grief is just to keep looking forward, keep moving forward. You don't wallow in it, but that advice does not work for everyone. Sometimes you have to go with your feelings in order to get through them. And if you're a highly sensitive person, that might be something that works better for you, to accept that yes, you feel very sad, and to get past it, the only thing you can do is take a few days out or maybe longer and just cry. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not weird. It's just you reacting to pain, which is normal. The second tip was from a writer named, and I'm going to probably say her name wrong, it's Tali Rulian. Anyway, she suggested that because your body, after a breakup, is flooded with chemicals that come from being ready to fight or being upset, like cortisol, that makes you very stressed out. It produces this feeling of anxiety in you, and so it kind of makes you feel already feeling sad, but that buildup of cortisol and other similar hormones and chemicals makes you feel even worse and more anxious. So what you want to do is focus on activities that bring down your cortisol levels and increase your more soothing hormonal levels. So you want to kind of balance out with the chemicals that your body naturally produces. A couple of ways that you can do that, she suggests, are to go get a massage. If you're a person who's comfortable with a massage, some people aren't crazy about being touched, but others, it really does help. And it's a great way to break up some of those toxins and um, just make yourself feel more relaxed and calm. Another thing that you can do, she suggests, is to get out in nature. Like go for a walk in a peaceful area, maybe not in a big city in the middle of a New York street or whatever, but someplace maybe near water or just where there's a lot of trees. You can watch the wind kind of whip through the trees or play with a dog or a cat. Um, just do something that puts you in touch with nature, that makes you feel peaceful, so that you can bring out more of those, so you can help your body get back into balance and get rid of some of those anxiety inducing stress hormones. Another thing that the same writer, Tally, suggested was to go cold turkey on your ex. And for some INFPs, this is pretty easy well, I wouldn't say easy, that's an exaggeration, but this comes naturally to us. I know when I'm angry with someone, I'm done. Like, there's no Facebook stalking, there's no messaging them, done. But then there are other INFPs who have difficulty letting go. Like, they're so sweet. Even if they've been hurt by someone, they still want to reach out because they love them. They do. Um, and I think that's very natural. But this writer who I was researching what she said, she brought out that we've gotten attached to someone who sadly does not want us to be a part of their life. And that is their loss. And it could be detrimental to us to continue to be or try to cling to them and to keep getting pushed away. So, to protect yourself, the best thing to do is to go cold turkey and let them go. Don't follow their Instagram or Facebook or whatever. Just leave them alone. And I know that's really, really difficult for some of us because you were in a relationship with them and you felt it's almost like you are losing a limb. But for the most part, it's usually good to just let that person go. And if you're an INFP, one thing that we do tend to do also is fantasize about someone. Like you continue to think, well, what if we got back together? Even if you let them go, you continue to think, what if, what if, what if? It would be a good idea to probably retrain your brain to stop doing that too. Because even though it is good to analyze the past and understand what went wrong in a relationship, it's more helpful to do that while moving on to the next chapter of life instead of analyzing a relationship while being in this weird place of should I get back with them? Do they want to get back with them? Instead of asking the question and giving them all that power to make that decision or to keep rejecting you, you give yourself the answer. No, we're not getting back together. We're done. I'm moving on. Yes, I still love them. And yes, this hurts, but I'm going to move on. And I think Tally's suggestion about that is a really good idea because it helps you. It allows you to free up some of your brain power that was focused so much on a relationship to now shift to you. And that might sound a little self-absorbed, but I mean, after you go through something this traumatic, it is good to be a little bit focused on yourself. And this brings us to the final suggestion, which is to instead of spending time and energy focusing on this person who's gone from your life now, focus on self-improvement. Think about yourself. Like make it a project to become more independent because apparently before now, you were dependent on this person for one reason or another. You fell in love with them. So they became like a security blanket, someone who you who you felt like you needed in your life. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. It's just that there's also nothing wrong with being independent and learning to rely on yourself as your own security blanket. But how do you do that after you're used to being with someone else for so long? How do you even depend on yourself? Well, that's something that you get to relearn. And it's an interesting process because you learn more about yourself. You learn more about your strengths, your weaknesses, and you come away after you make a project out of this being able to help others do the same thing. So, what might be helpful is to spend some time, and this doesn't take a whole lot of effort to start with, but to take some time and go to YouTube and look up their TED Talks channel, and then just watch like some videos about self improvement, about learning to get over lost love, um, how to be more. I can't think of. There were a couple of topics I thought about before I did this, and now they're like gone from my head. But just some videos from the TED Talks programs about how to be a better version of yourself. And also, there is a book by Jen Sincero. I'm probably not saying her name right. I think it's Jen Sincero. She wrote, "You Are a Badass: How to Stop Doubting Your Greatness and Start Living an Awesome Life." It's a really long title, but it's a pretty good book. I read it and I enjoyed it. Um, and it's exactly what the title said. It's about how to become the strongest version of yourself possible, like learning to accept yourself, your flaws, how to be happy, how to make other people happy, and accept that sometimes we can't make everybody happy. It's just a pretty well rounded, balanced book that helps people who feel like they've lost power to regain it. So, reading books like that and then watching, really inspiring and empowering TED Talks can be the start of a self improvement project that helps you rediscover yourself. Um, so, yeah, it's really, really hard to lose someone who you love. And it's going to take a while to get over it no matter what. But I do think that those tips aren't a bad start. Like to, first of all, accept that it's okay to feel whatever you need to feel. It's okay to cry. It's okay if you're angry. Um, and then to try and soothe yourself too by getting a massage or taking a lot of walks. Or if you like to write poetry, maybe doing that. Um, and then to set up a clear, distinct, huge brick wall of a boundary between you and your ex by not by forcing yourself not to reach out to them for random messages or to ask them if they want to get back together. I mean, every case is different. Everyone's different. Like sometimes that does work out where people reach out and they realize there was just a misunderstanding and they get back together. So I don't want to be like, you should never get in touch with your ex. But a lot of times, if someone does break up with you, the best thing to do is leave it alone most of the time. Um, and then that last tip was to, instead of focusing on your ex or on that relationship and kind of antagonizing yourself with what went wrong, focus on self improvement. I hope that that was helpful. I know this is like a really tough subject. It's one of the hardest things in the world to get over love, and it can feel like you're cursed when you are highly sensitive and or an INFP, which is basically almost the same thing usually, and you're trying to get over someone. But just know that you're not alone. Like, a lot of us go through this and it's difficult. But if you depend on your community of fellow HSP or highly sensitive people and INFPs, you can get through it. You're going to be all right. Alrighty, if you have any comments, please feel free to leave them. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.